What if the future of energy isn't on Earth, but 36,000 kilometers above it? China is building a massive solar power station in space. No clouds, no night, just endless sun. It could power entire cities or spark the next global energy race. Sounds impossible. It's already happening. But there's one catch. Only if you subscribe will you find out how this story ends. Stay until the end, because what's coming might change our planet forever. How space-based solar power works. Imagine a solar power plant floating in space. This isn't science fiction. This is China's next leap in renewable energy. A space-based solar power station orbiting 36,000 kilometers above Earth. But how does it work? The concept is simple but powerful. Instead of placing solar panels on Earth, you place them in geostationary orbit. Up there, the sun never sets. No clouds, no rain, just constant, uninterrupted solar radiation. Step 1. A massive satellite unfolds gigantic solar arrays, spanning hundreds of meters. These arrays collect sunlight 24/7 and convert it into electricity. Step 2. Instead of storing the energy on board, the satellite beams it down to Earth using high-frequency microwaves or laser transmissions. The energy is received at a ground-based rectenna, a receiving antenna field, where it's converted into usable electricity for homes, factories, or entire cities. Sounds futuristic? China is already building test facilities. The first small-scale demonstrator is expected to launch by 2028, with full-scale commercial operations planned for 2050. There are multiple advantages. Continuous energy day and night, no weather disruptions, global coverage including remote regions. But the technical challenges are massive. Building and launching enormous structures into orbit. Accurate beam targeting across 36,000 kilometers. Safety concerns about microwave exposure to life on Earth. Potential weaponization fears. A focused energy beam could, in theory, be misused. Still, if China succeeds, it could trigger a global energy revolution. One orbital solar farm could produce up to 1 gigawatt, the same as a nuclear power plant, but without waste or fuel. This isn't just about power, it's about power projection. China wants to be the first, not just to claim clean energy dominance, but also to own the orbital infrastructure of the future. Because in space, whoever shines first shines the brightest. Why China is leading the space solar race. While other countries talk about space-based solar power, China is already building it. In 2022, China announced plans to develop the first operational space solar station. Not by 2100, but by 2050. That's just 25 years away, and the groundwork has already begun. The city of Chongqing is home to the first full-scale ground test facility, designed to simulate orbital beaming. Using high-altitude balloons and advanced laser transmitters, scientists are perfecting the system before ever launching it into orbit. But why is China so far ahead? 1. Government-backed megaprojects. China excels at massive infrastructure programs. The same centralized model that built high-speed rail, megadams, and entire cities is now pushing orbital energy stations with billions in backing. 2. Military-industrial collaboration. The Chinese military views space-based power as dual use. Clean energy for remote bases. Strategic orbital advantage in future conflicts that gives the project political urgency and military funding. 3. Launch capacity. China has rapidly expanded its Long March rocket family, capable of launching heavy payloads. With space station experience, Tiangong, and lunar ambitions, it's no surprise they're ready to launch massive solar structures. 4. Energy security. As the world shifts from fossil fuels, China wants to dominate the next generation of energy tech and export it globally. Space solar would bypass geopolitical choke points and fossil dependencies. Meanwhile, the US, Japan, and the EU are still in early-stage R&D. But China, they're testing microwave transmission. They're designing orbital stations. They're planning full-scale deployment. Is it risky? Absolutely. But if they succeed, China won't just light up cities, they'll redefine who controls energy in the 21st century. And whoever controls the energy, controls everything. The technology behind China's Space Solar Station, 36,000 kilometers above Earth, an engineering marvel is taking shape, quietly orbiting, silently gathering the sun's power. At its core lies a concept that seems pulled from the pages of science fiction: a solar power station floating in space, beaming clean energy back to Earth without ever touching the ground. This is no ordinary satellite. It's a colossal structure designed to unfurl massive solar panels, hundreds of meters wide, in the vacuum of space. These panels are positioned in geostationary orbit, remaining fixed over a single spot on Earth, soaking up continuous sunlight with no interference from weather, clouds, or nightfall. The result? A near-constant stream of solar energy that far surpasses anything terrestrial systems can achieve. But the real magic lies in the transmission. The energy harvested by the station is first converted into direct current, then transformed into high-frequency microwaves. These microwaves are aimed with incredible precision at receiver stations, called rectennas, on Earth's surface. These stations, made of dense grids of antenna-like structures, capture the incoming energy and convert it back into usable electricity. This system requires extreme accuracy. If the beam drifts even slightly, energy could be lost, or worse, misdirected. That's where artificial intelligence comes in. Every movement, every adjustment of the panels, every modulation of the energy beam is handled by AI. It monitors everything in real time, from the angle of the sun to orbital shifts to fluctuations in energy demand on Earth, and recalibrates accordingly. There's no joystick, no human operator. Just code, sensors, and machine logic, controlling a billion-dollar power station 36,000 kilometers away. The materials used to build the station are equally cutting-edge. Lightweight carbon composites and heat-resistant films like Captain ensure durability in extreme temperatures, radiation, and micrometeorite impacts. Each component is built for autonomy. There are no repair crews in space, but this system must survive and operate for decades entirely on its own. What we're witnessing isn't just a leap in solar power, it's a leap in how humanity captures energy itself. It's not anchored to deserts or rooftops anymore. It's suspended in space, dancing in sunlight, and changing everything we thought we knew about the limits of power. Controversies and risks. As groundbreaking as China's orbital solar initiative may be, not everyone views it with excitement. In fact, the deeper one looks, the more unsettling questions arise, ones that go far beyond technology. For starters, the idea of beaming microwave energy from space directly to Earth triggers immediate concern. While the science behind focused microwave transmission is well established, people wonder what happens if something goes wrong. Could a misaligned beam pose a risk to airplanes? What about birds flying overhead, or remote communities within range? Chinese officials insist on built-in safety systems and controlled shutoffs, but full transparency remains elusive. Then there's the staggering cost. Launching and maintaining a space-based solar station could cost billions, far more than building a traditional nuclear plant or investing in terrestrial renewables. Critics are skeptical. What happens if the satellite malfunctions just months into operation? There's no repair team 36,000 kilometers above Earth. A single failure could mean the loss of an entire power station, and with such high stakes, the return on investment is anything but guaranteed. What makes the project even more controversial is its dual-use potential. A satellite that beams power could, at least theoretically, be adapted to beam energy with less peaceful intent. Defense analysts are already warning that this technology might one day serve military purposes, such as disabling enemy infrastructure or acting as a high-altitude weapon. China maintains that its ambitions are peaceful, yet the thin line between civilian energy and strategic orbital dominance remains impossible to ignore. Compounding the issue is the risk of orbital congestion. the geostationary belt, already cluttered with communications satellites and debris, may not be ready for massive, football field-sized solar structures. If even one of these orbital giants collides with space junk, the fallout could disrupt not only power delivery, but satellite systems relied on by the entire world. And finally, there's the question of autonomy. These satellites will be fully AI-controlled, managing their own orientation, energy transmission, and fault responses in real time. But what happens when the AI makes a mistake, or worse, gets hacked? With no human hand to guide it, the consequences of even a minor miscalculation could be disastrous. So while the project promises a revolution in energy, it also invites a revolution in risk. And the higher we reach, the more fragile the balance becomes.
A national dream, future integration and expansion. What China is building in space isn't just a satellite. It's a prototype for a future energy empire. The vision stretches far beyond one station or even one city. This space solar project is designed to evolve into a massive network, an orbital power belt that could one day beam clean energy to vast regions across the entire country, and potentially beyond. At the heart of this ambition lies integration. China isn't treating this like a standalone experiment. It's already planning how to connect space-generated energy with its growing smart grid infrastructure on the ground. Massive receiving stations will be built in select desert regions, starting with the Gobi, where solar energy from orbit can be collected, stored, and redistributed across the nation using high-voltage direct current lines. These are the arteries of China's future energy body. But the plan goes even further. In long-term government documents, this space energy system is mentioned in the same breath as the Belt and Road Initiative. The idea? That energy harvested in space could eventually power areas outside China's borders, turning solar satellites into geopolitical tools. Just like the Belt and Road connects cities with railways and ports, this solar Silk Road could one day connect nations through the sky. China is also exploring how to link this future solar power to military and emergency use. A space-based system is immune to earthquakes, floods, and sabotage on the ground. In disaster zones, energy could be redirected instantly. In military scenarios, a nation with space energy control could theoretically power forward bases or disrupt the infrastructure of rivals. The government's roadmap already outlines future stations with 100-plus megawatt capacities, and even modular systems that could be launched and assembled piece by piece in orbit. If successful, this would create a scalable model for other nations, or a new kind of technological dominance for China. What started as a space science dream is rapidly morphing into an Earth-shaping strategy, not just to light homes, but to rewire the balance of power between energy producers and consumers, between Earth and orbit, between nations old and new. The future is not on Earth anymore. What once sounded like a science fiction fantasy is now orbiting reality. China's leap into space-based solar power isn't just an energy milestone, it's a signal that the future of global power may not be rooted in oil, wind, or even Earth itself. It's above us, silent and glowing, waiting to be harnessed. But in this race to dominate the skies, who controls the energy, controls the game. The world is watching. The countdown has begun. And the sun, it seems, never sets on ambition. Power in the shadows. If solar power can come from space, what else might follow? Satellites that heal, machines that spy, weapons that never touch the ground? We're standing at the edge of a new energy war, one fought without borders. Want to know what China is launching next? Or which country just countered with a secret orbital prototype? Then subscribe, because only if you follow this channel will you ever see what's coming from above.